People think if you deprive yourself of sugar that the cancer won't be able to grow, or that sugar does make cancer grow.
I believe that people have misinterpreted Otto Warburg's findings. He did a phenomenal job in terms of how tumor cells have some reliance on increasing glucose absorption. It's kind of easy from somebody who doesn't study this particular thing to say there must be some sort of reliance on glucose. If I cut out the glucose, cancer is gone.
Welcome to Target Cancer Podcast. My name is Dr. Sanjay Juneja. I'm a hematologist oncologist, also known as the OncDoc on social media. And today I'm super excited because I have someone that I'm actually pretty upset I didn't find out about earlier. His name is Dr. Joseph Zundel, and he basically, if I'm geeky and nerdy when it comes to the clinical things, meaning what happens in the patient room, he's geeky and nerdy about all the stuff that allow oncologists to be able to basically, stay on top of therapies and treat cancers. Joseph, we're so excited to have you. I love your videos on Instagram because you really teach us about the sciencey things about escape mechanisms with cancer and also busting a lot of myths. And you and I think, share the same, which I'm going to get to in a second. But thank you for being here. And what got you into that geeky stuff? Is it so enigmatic, the cancer process, and just kind of figuring out, I think, the most dubious challenge of humankind?
So first of all, just let me thank you for being here in the first place. It's an absolute honor. And I also found you a little bit too late in the game too, and it's kind of surprising, maybe a little bit too, but the actual, the cancer space on social media is very limited. I think there's really only a few of us trying to tackle this problem. But
Right.
kind of, what got me into cancer biology is, one, I realized kind of early on that I've always been interested in science, but the main reason that I'm in cancer biology and became a cancer biologist researcher is because of personal reasons, because I lost my mom to esophageal cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's
okay.
And that's a stubborn one to treat. I mean, recently we've found some more things, but it's very difficult. I'm sorry. There's just some cancers that are just more stubborn than others. And I had a pretty good podcast with Dr. Siddhartha Mukherjee, the Pulitzer Prize winner of Emperor of All Maladies, and he kind of shed a lot of light on why pancreatic cancer, for example, is really quite challenging, because it's not just the properties that are inside the cancer itself, but pancreatic cancer is known to hijack other cells, almost like a hostage or a shield. And those cells of our own body kind of repel, our own defenses to attack it. So that's one strategy pancreatic cancer uses. Also, Sandeep Patel told us that they're starting to think that there's a bacteria around some pancreatic cells that probably was in you already that somehow metabolizes or eats up the chemotherapy right before you get there. So, it's weird. And do you have, I guess, an answer that can be captured in an hour on what are some of the kind of key features that make some cancers so stubborn? Obviously, if we can target the thing that makes it grow and get bigger, that's always a good thing. Like HER2 positive breast cancer.
Right.
That was a super aggressive feature that you just prayed you didn't have before, right? And then all of a sudden, now you want HER2 positive rather than being triple negative. Why? Because now we can actually attack the thing that makes it, grow.
Yeah, and they just came out with a new therapy for cancers that express high levels of HER2 receptor expression.
Right, low receptors. Yeah, low receptors. So that's what was crazy, is that all of a sudden, everything we consider to be HER2 negative, which was a 2+, all of a sudden, and I keep saying this on social media, please, if you have breast cancer and you're told you're triple negative, or even if you're hormone positive but HER2 negative, you have to go back to the pathology and see if you were 1+. Because forever, for 25, 30, however many years, that was considered negative. And all of a sudden last summer, and that's why it was a standing ovation, somebody said, is it clinically negative? And then they tested the drug, which is called Enhertu, and they were like, oh, wait a second, we can target it. And so that's some of the, one of the, very many humbling things about where we're at. But what are two things, if you can, about what makes cancers, some, just so stubborn, or what are the features? Is it that they have escape mechanisms? Is it hijacking the immune system? All of the above?
Yeah, so this is going to be a very complex answer, and it's something that I actively try and display on my page, especially from a layman's terms perspective. And it's the hallmarks of cancers. Have you read those papers?
I've read some of them, yeah, when you alluded to it in the email.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've been adapting those biological mechanisms for how cancers utilize a very diverse amount of strategies to continue to sustain their growth, whether it's, like you said, hijacking immune cells or suppressing immune responses, or utilizing microbes to kind of, in their particular environment, continue to combat for resources and continue to grow.